culture. Be stylish. Be seductive. Be cynical.
Today's episode is brought to you by our new sponsor, Nefarious by Design, a one-stop shop for all your adult healthcare and lifestyle needs. Whether you're exploring kink for the first time or you're a seasoned connoisseur, Nefarious by Design has you covered. From over 15,000 products like aquatic personal stimulators and zebra print lingerie to full dungeon setups, restraints, and high-quality machines, this isn't your average toy store. They carry all the major brands you know and love, such as Blush, Womanizer, XR Brands, and so many more. Their personal machines and dungeon furniture are especially hot right now. Sinical listeners get 30% off select items and free shipping on U.S. orders over $55. They also offer international shipping. Want even more perks? Join their Wet One membership for 20% off all year long, plus free shipping. Fetish group or club member? Get a free Nefarious Club membership and enjoy 25% off every order. Go to nefariousbydesign.com and elevate your pleasure with purpose.
Hi, my name is Miss Electra Santiago, and I'm currently not based out of anywhere, but I will be living in Melbourne for a year starting in October, so you can session with me there.
And when did you first realize you were into kink?
I think it's kind of always been part of my life. Like I think back to some of my younger relationships, and I had I had boyfriends when I was young, and I kind of like got off on orgasm control with them from like, kind of a young age, which I think is pretty funny. And then as I got older, I had a long-term relationship where my boyfriend encouraged me to start pegging him. And so I got into that, and we were together for quite a long time. So I got my practice in. Um, and yeah, as far as getting into being a dom, I actually had somebody reach out on FetLife, and I had started content creation at that point. It was about 2020, and he just asked if I'd ever considered being a dom, and I said, no, not really. And I met him for coffee, and we hit it off, and then he just kind of um, introduced the thought to me, and yeah, uh, ended up trying a bunch of things with him, and it just felt like it came really naturally to me. So I ended up pursuing it pretty heavily at that point.
Did you mainly teach yourself like techniques as far as being a professional dominatrix, or did you have any kind of mentors in the beginning?
In the beginning, it was mostly just me doing my own research, and the subs that I was playing with were very experienced, so it helped to have those connections and learn from them. But as time went on, I was going to lots of classes and things, and classes at events like DomCon, and just gaining relationships with other DOMs.
And what are some of your favorite toys or devices in the dungeon?
Um, right off the bat, where my mind goes to is really like the Enjoy wand. It's like a thick metal wand, and it's got balls on the end because I just love giving prostate orgasms. Um, so that's a really fun one for me, but not everybody is totally into it. Um, Besides that, my hands, these are magic.
Would you consider yourself like more of a sensual dom or a sadistic, or it just depends on the session?
I think it depends on the session. I think my content has kind of been geared towards more sensual content. But that's really just because of like the restrictions with the credit card processors. Like there's all kinds of things that I enjoy doing, like, ball busting or fisting or piss play or things like that, that I don't really get to do in content, just because of the way things are now. So I mean, I enjoy both, but most of what you see from me online is sensual stuff.
As far as like the platforms you promote on, or like, I guess, video companies or video clip companies that you work with, d which platforms seem to work the best for you right now with all the censorship and restrictions?
I would say Clips for Sale. It's definitely the best one for me. And also like just because of the kind of content I do. ManyVids is decent too, but I feel like that's kind of geared more towards vanilla content. And I Want Clips used to be um, quite a bit better for me, but I think nowadays it's kind of geared towards more like findom and solo content, which isn't something I really do so much. And OnlyFans it is what it is. It has the largest fan base, so I can't really get around that, unfortunately.
Are things more open? Like, do you find it to be more open in Berlin or Melbourne compared to like the United States?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, totally. Yeah, the culture is way more relaxed in both places. Um, and I mean, sex work is decriminalized in Melbourne, in the state of Victoria. So that makes a big difference. And I think it's really interesting too, because like sex work is, it's kind of like something that everybody's tried there, to be honest. And particularly escorting, it's huge. Like I've met so many wonderful people that had worked in the brothels there, and it's just kind of like as normal as any other job. And
Well,
I mean, in Berlin, it's just Berlin. Like obviously, it is the culture. The subculture is the culture.
how's the like the actual fetish scene in Melbourne?
It's quite fun. I'm flying back for Oz Kink Fest in October, which is going to be great fun. It's basically a whole month of events. There's like, 3 or 4 different events that there's a weekend of classes, there's like a fetish fair where you can buy things, and then there's 2 parties, and one is like a hardcore players party, which is quite fun. And did a fisting scene at that last year. So we'll see what I come up with this year.
And back to the dungeon, do you have any rituals that you do to help prepare or get in the mind space before a session, or do you play music or anything that do you play music during the session or do you prefer silence?
No, I definitely play music. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, half the time I'll just go on my Spotify and I'll, you've got the genres at the top. I'll just like press the dark one. It'll make a playlist. So it's like lots of industrial goth type music or whatever. But it just depends on what I'm in the mood for and like what kind of session it's going to be. And as far as like rituals, I don't really feel like I do anything in particular, any anything. But there's nothing I do every time to prepare because every session is going to be different.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
And what about the psychological aspect of domination? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Hmm. I mean, what exactly about it?
As far as how do you get into the headspace of some of your submissives? Like what are some triggers or techniques that you like to use?
Well, I think that's definitely a tricky one because everybody has they want a different level of involvement with that. Like some people they just want like to be involved in the physical aspect, and then some people want something that's heavily psychological, but you have to be aware of what kinds of trauma or triggers people might have as well. Because when you're playing with somebody psychologically, you're um, being entrusted with something that can be kind of delicate. But I mean, it can also be very hot and fun and sexy. So, yeah.
And what is subspace and what is top space to you?
Subspace, I would say subspace is just like a release. Um, it's like an opportunity to escape from the day to day. And requires a lot of like trust and it's really an opportunity to like fully let yourself over to another person and um yeah, allow them to just play with your psychology, giving them like an opportunity to exert whatever kind of control they think is fun, and then vice versa, like top space, I feel like it's exhilarating. It's at least for me, the control in a scene is just like, yeah, it's yeah, it's exhilarating. It's it can be intense. And yeah, just the power play is really exciting.
Do you think these states of mind can be achieved in a single session, or does it develop over time?
No, I definitely think that you can achieve it in a single session. And I think a lot of what it comes down to is the chemistry between you and the other person. Because even if you don't know each other, sometimes it's just a really good fit.
Do
And I
you
mean,
have,
of course, over time, like those relationships can deepen too.
right? And what is like the average length of a typical session that you aim for?
I mean, it really just depends on like what the client wants and what we're doing. I kind of favor longer sessions nowadays because I feel like, well, I actually haven't done hour sessions for years now, but
Okay.
I'd say minimum 2 hours for me. Um, I've got one coming up that's going to be 5 when I get back to Seattle. So
Oh wow.
those people definitely get prioritized because especially when I go back home, it's I'm very busy.
I've had some people on the podcast say they've done sessions that have lasted like 24 hours. Have you ever done anything like that or thought about doing that?
I haven't, but I mean, well, not professionally. In my personal life, like
Okay, yeah.
of course, I've had partners where, we've been continuously doing things, but I would love to do that.
Do you have any sessions that stand out to you or, as far as being memorable or just something crazy happened?
Yeah, I feel like I always bring this one up, but there was this one session that I did with two other doms, and the sub wanted to be killed and eaten. That was his fetish, and he traveled all over the US just in search of making this dream a reality. And obviously, like he didn't actually want to be killed and eaten, but it was a lot of like psychological play, and we tied him up and put him on a table and like took Sharpies and like drew the cuts of meat on him. And it was like,
Wow.
it was really interesting talking to him too, because I asked what his favorite session was. And he said that one time he did one with a dom who cooked a pig in the other room and he was blindfolded and she would like cut pieces of the pig off and then like feed them to him. And
Oh wow.
so and there's this whole psychological thing where it was like, oh, I'm eating myself. So he said that was the best one he had ever had.
Oh wow. I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, yeah.
What advice do you have for someone who hasn't played with a professional dominatrix before, as far as reaching out to someone or like doing research, or what do you recommend for them?
I would say don't just reach out to somebody because you're attracted to them. Like really think about what kind of a time you want to have. Like what are your kinks? Like what does this person specialize in? Um, and you can really get a feel for their personality and their experience from their social media a lot of the time in their website. And we put a lot of effort into making sure that's the case. And it's like seeing any professional, like maybe the first one you see isn't going to be a good fit. And yeah, I think personality fit is the most important thing above all.
When it comes to your photo sets, what do you look for as far as like the images you're trying to create? Are you really focused on like the location or fashion or poses?
Well, I think my style's kind of evolved over time. I think I used to kind of go for like a more casual lingerie bedroom girl next door, like a femdom girlfriend kind of vibe, but I think I've really leaned into the like latex sexy dominatrix type thing in the last couple of years. Um, and I've really tried to up the production value of my images too, just naturally as you do something longer, that's going to happen. And I do love fashion. Like I love clothes, so that's definitely a factor for me too.
Yeah.
It's tough because I've been traveling full time for almost a year, so there's only so much room in my suitcase. So if I get something that's really nice and expensive, like a new latex piece, like I've got to have room for it, and or shoes, like that's a fourth of my suitcase right there.
Do you have any favorite fetish fashion designers?
Um, yes, I do. I really like Metamorphose in Paris. I went there a while back, and I really liked their latex, but also just it was really like a luxury experience when I was shopping there. Like the care that they put into taking care of their clients, it really was top notch. Um, I like uh Antidote London latex because they've got those like beautiful, like ornate, frilly, like I guess like I don't want to say like femboy, but because they're for women, they're super girly and busty, but they've got those like really intricate pieces that are so beautiful. Yeah, there's so many other ones, but
And you mentioned that you've traveled a lot. Do you have any favorite places that you've been to and any specific cities that are pretty open-minded when it comes to this?
yeah, well, I mean, the two we were talking about earlier, like I think, I mean, I've been to 22 countries in the last couple of years,
Wow.
which is a lot. And I think for me, like for living, I mean, of course, there's plenty of places I love to visit, but for living, I think the most important thing to me is like feeling like I can be myself and be open. Um, and yeah, like Melbourne is number one for me. Because it's just so like clean and nice and the people are so kind and there's a fun alternative scene. It's like not horribly expensive. It's just great. And then, Berlin for the counterculture. Like I can't say that it's clean or nice because that's not true, but it is very fun. It's very, very fun.
Was it the open-mindedness of some of these other cities and countries that led you to leave the United States? Or what was your motivation?
My motivation for leaving the US is because it's kind of cooked right now. I mean, yeah, nobody can argue that. Like,
Yeah.
I actually planned on leaving for about 3 years before I actually did. And it's partially because I wanted the experience of living overseas, forever. But also, I just felt like a really good time to leave, and I did leave in anticipation of what is happening currently. So. And I feel extremely privileged that I was able to, have the time to plan that out and that I get to do this like this. But also if anybody else is thinking about leaving and wants help, then you can please message me and I will do whatever I can to give advice.
Is there any movies or TV shows or literature that you found ex inspiring as far as like fetish or BDSM culture?
Yeah. My absolute favorite book of all time is Venus and Furs.
Oh, that's a good
It's
one.
by I don't know the correct pronunciation. It's Sasha Massock. I don't know. That's the guy that wrote it, but he's basically the father of sadomasochism, and the whole book is about like him falling for this woman and like simping for her really hard and just like prostrating himself at her feet and just being pathetic. And it's like it's beautifully written. And yeah, everyone should check it out. It's great.
Is there any movies or books that you've come across that you don't think are good for the fetish or BDSM scene?
This is so funny because I actually just watched 50 Shades of Grey like 2 days ago with my friend for the first time. And we were just hanging out and making dinner. And she brought it up. And I was like, I've actually never seen it. And so we watched it the other day. And I was just cackling the whole time because it's so cringe. Like, just seeing basically, I think it was supposed to be Twilight fanfic
Yeah.
originally. So just seeing that on the screen and like having actors like actually act that out, it was. So cringe. So funny.
What's crazy is I had made a documentary on dominatrices and I tried to upload the trailer to YouTube and I was dealing with all these restrictions and nothing is shown in the trailer, but I'm like, what about 50 Shades of Grey? You know, it's kind of like
Right?
pretty double standard there. But
Yeah, seriously.
my last question is, how should someone reach out to you if they're interested in a session?
Well, my website is www.electrasantiago.com and I have a booking form on there, and that is definitely the best way to get in contact with me. Don't DM me. Use the form, please.
And is there any kind of screening protocol on your website that someone needs to read?
Yeah, there's an intake form. It's nothing crazy. nothing more than what anybody else has up there. I tried to make it like pretty straightforward and accessible. It's not 10 pages long. It has the information that I need to know.
Very cool. I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview with me and for being in the magazine.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.